I've been using the Google Pixel 9a for about 9 months now, and as you can tell from my previous videos, I am a huge fan of the value that this phone offers. But it's not perfect. The most important thing to keep in perspective throughout this entire review is this. The Pixel 10 Pro starts at $999 and the Pixel 9a starts at only $499. That is a $500 price difference, and let me just tell you now, I do not think that the Pixel 10 Pro necessarily offers $500 of additional features. Let's kick it off with the design and the build quality. The polished aluminum frame, which I wish they would just put on the Pro models already, feels great in the hand and provides plenty of grip in daily use. It also comes in on the lighter side at only 186 grams. One thing that helps with the weight is the amazing plastic back. I love the way it feels, and mine has held up great over these last 9 months, and whatever coating they gave it makes you forget that it's plastic. I appreciate how subtle this overall design is, and since I have been also using the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 quite a bit recently, I really love that there is no camera bump or annoying wobble when using it on a flat surface. Now the bezels are, well, thicker than what I would want them to be, but keep in mind that this is $500 cheaper than the Pro model with thinner bezels. And I am telling you, as someone who uses this phone frequently, especially on my last visit to Lima and Arequipa, Peru, you will not notice the bezels after using it for an hour, but you will absolutely notice your bank account having $500 more in it. This is the first time in a while that the A series is offering what I would consider some legitimate competition to the Pro models, which makes me excited to see what Google will do with the Pixel 10a coming out in just a few months. And as expected, you get competitive water and dust resistance coming in at IP68, which is great at this price point. Overall, especially for the price, the design and build quality are just fantastic. And getting to the display, you get a 6.3-inch OLED panel that gives you 120Hz refresh rate, but unlike its more expensive Pro brothers, it is not getting an LTPO panel, meaning your screen won't go all the way down to 1 Hz, but it will instead flip between 60Hz and 120Hz depending on what you're doing. And for $500 less, I don't mind this, to be completely honest. One great thing is that you get a whopping 2700 nits of peak brightness, which is actually a little bit brighter than the S25 Ultra, which also costs $800 more than this phone. Without the anti-reflective coating, however, the Pixel 9a still isn't as good as the S25 Ultra outdoors, but I do appreciate the 2700 nits of peak brightness regardless. Whether you're playing games or watching content, this screen looks great and has been much better than I expected for the price. And luckily, you can do a lot on this screen because of the fantastic battery life. I normally get between 9 and 11 hours of screen on time, but also keep in mind that a lot of this is on Wi-Fi because my office and in my home I have Wi-Fi, and that's where I normally am 90% of the time. For my use, I use my phone to take phone calls, send messages to family and friends, playing music for long periods of time, taking photos and videos, watching content like my channel, subscribe for more by the way, and playing games through mobile gaming and emulating whenever I have some free time. If you are not a heavy user, I can definitely see this phone lasting 2 days of use. Now, one slight downside of the battery is the charging speed. On this device, you're only getting 23 watts wired and 7.5 watts wireless. This is fine if you charge overnight, so for some of you, this won't be an issue. However, as I'm also used to having my OnePlus 13 and 15 charging from 0 to 100% in only half an hour, it pains me to use 23 watts wired when I need to quickly charge up before heading out and doing something. It takes me about 2 hours to go from 0 to 100% charging with the cable, and if you enjoy wireless charging, it's going to be even worse. I say this almost every single video I make, but I'm gonna say it again because this is something that phone manufacturers need to figure out ASAP. OnePlus has proven that you can implement better battery technology while maintaining a slim form factor and having a larger battery and faster charging while not degrading the battery life. I know this firsthand after using my OnePlus 13 nearly daily for almost a year now, and my battery still performs like it did when I pulled it out of the box. The technology is there, it exists, but these larger phone manufacturers such as Google need to start implementing it now and giving consumers the best in battery tech available. With that little mini rant over, let's check out the camera because I do have one huge complaint that I didn't have when I initially reviewed this phone. And actually, let's just get this one out of the way. I still recommend this phone and I think that it is an amazing value for the price. However, one issue that I've been facing within the last month or so is that my ultra-wide camera simply does not focus. I have tried software resets and even a complete factory reset, and the camera is still broken. So while I'm not a repair expert, it appears to be a hardware issue and I do not have any insurance for this device, so I'm just simply not going to be fixing it. But with that said, the camera is absolutely incredible and way better than I ever expected for the price. You're getting a 48 megapixel main sensor, a 13 megapixel ultra wide, and a 13 megapixel selfie camera. For Christmas, I went to Lima, Peru to visit my in-laws, and we also took a very short trip to Arequipa, Peru, and I took my Pixel 9a along with me to take some photos and video, and let me tell you, I was not at all disappointed. The 48 megapixel main sensor is fantastic, and it actually blew me away how good it was. It has great dynamic range, natural colors, excellent detail. It doesn't matter if you're taking photos in bright light or indoors, it's reliable and consistent every single time. Just absolute pixel magic as always. I was so impressed at how well this handled photos in all lighting scenarios, and every single photo I took with the primary sensor just looked fantastic. This is an absolute banger of a camera for the price and will be for years to come. Night photos look clean without being overly processed, and again, thinking about the price of the phone, just look at how the pixel image processing transforms these what would be unusable photos into photos that I could actually share. And for the 13 megapixel ultra wide, I will show a few of the photos here so you can see this issue that I was referring to, but I'll leave it at that and say if the camera performs as it should, it does a good job, but my camera clearly no longer focuses as it did when I first bought it, so this is a hardware issue that I've encountered and it is something to note. And the 13 megapixel front camera isn't as nice as the 42 megapixel camera on the Pro models, but I think it does a fair job in all lighting scenarios. To be able to capture terrific selfies in multiple lighting situations on my trip in Lima and Arequipa, Peru, I was very happy to have the Pixel 9a at my side. Bottom line, this phone provides way more value than the $500 that you pay for it. If you want a cheaper phone that focuses on the camera, this is your next device. Just buy it. And for the performance, people who don't like pixels are going to insult the Tensor chip only based on the benchmarks. And hey, let's face it, it is significantly underpowered compared to something like the Snapdragon 8 Elite, and especially the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5. It's just an objective fact. But the issue is that the full story cannot be told looking only at the benchmarks. The 100% honest truth is that this phone performs like a flagship device would, regardless of what the benchmarks show. And we need to remember as well that this is the same chip that you're going to find in all the Pro models of the 9 series pixels, so for the price, this is fantastic in my opinion. So keeping everything in perspective, the Tensor G4 chip is great for the majority of what you need a smartphone to do every single day, and you'll have no problems performing these daily tasks. And again, remember that this phone only costs $500 and it performs just as fast as my Pixel Pros. Apps open quickly, multitasking is smooth, and animations are very fluid. It handles everything from scrolling through Reddit, light gaming, or heavier titles through emulation without a single issue. It's legitimately flagship performance in a budget to mid-range phone, and one thing to note is that this only has 8GB of RAM, but for most people 8GB is enough and the phone doesn't feel limited because of it. And for the security, you're getting 2 ways to unlock your device: an under-display fingerprint sensor and a facial recognition system that you can actually use for secured apps, unlike other Android phones. It works very well even in poor lighting, but it won't perform well in a completely dark room. But for that, you can use the under-display optical fingerprint reader, which works every time, even though it's not nearly as fast as an ultrasonic sensor like you'll find on the Pro models. One thing I've noticed is that if you put a glass screen protector on your phone, it is a little bit trickier to get the fingerprint sensor to work 100% of the time, so this is something to consider if you like protecting your device, but I think with the fantastic facial recognition, it makes up for that slight downside. And for the software, this thing again is just packed with value. This is running the latest Android software without any glitches or hiccups, and you are getting 7 years of software updates and security support. This was released in April of 2025, so you will be supported until April of 2032. That is a ton of years of support, and based on my use after 9 months, I have no doubt that a year, 2 years, 3 years, or more in the future, this phone is still going to perform just great. That's one thing I love about Pixel devices, is that even older Pixel phones, which I have, they continue to perform fluidly and quickly as the years go by. You're also getting the same clean Pixel software of the more expensive models, and the 9A is just as fast as fluid in real-world use. This thing is just awesome to use. I have found that most of the people who hate on Pixel software have never actually used it. No, it's not going to be as customizable or as fun as something that you're going to find on like Samsung's One UI 8, but it is fantastically fluid and a joy to use. There is just something about it that makes it special, with its subtle haptic feedback when you're going throughout the UI, and the way that things bounce at times when you interact with them. People seem to forget that an enjoyable software experience is not a guarantee just because your phone is an absolute powerhouse, as we know that this phone is not. You're getting Circle to Search, which I understand is on all Android phones at this point, but it's still a useful feature from Google. Call screening, which is just incredible for scam callers, and it's one feature that I miss every time I switch to other Android phones. And most Pixel exclusive AI features, because of the 8GB of RAM like I mentioned before, you miss out on a few of these features, but honestly I can't say that this bugs me that much. For example, Gemini on the 9A is a smaller version than what's running on the 9 and 9 Pro, and they call it Gemini Nano XXS. And this doesn't run in the background. As someone who at this point feels overwhelmed by all the AI, this doesn't even feel like a bad thing anymore to have less AI capabilities running in the background. Now, because of the 8GB of RAM, the AI will perform slower as well than other models with more RAM, and some of the things you will miss out on are Pixel screenshots, which does allow you to capture and generate AI-powered summaries with screenshots, making them searchable and easier to organize, which can be a very helpful feature, but it's just not one that I use regularly, so it doesn't really bug me that I don't have it. And also, you won't get the call summarizing feature that summarizes your phone calls, which might be important to you, but again, it's just not a feature that I use all the time. And something that's important to remember, and it's something that I've said throughout this entire review, is that this phone costs $500. That means that you might not get all the features of the Pixel 10 Pro XL, but to save hundreds of dollars, does it really matter that much? In my opinion, this is still totally worth the price savings. And now, something that a few people in the comment section have asked me to cover, let's do a quick sound test and see how the speakers stand up to the latest Pixel 10 Pro XL, which I would consider the best sound quality of 2025. So, after 9 months of use, do I recommend you go out and pick up a Google Pixel 9a today? I'm gonna say absolutely yes, just go buy it already. But there is one catch. This phone was released in April 2025, and at the time of recording of this video, we're going into January of 2026. That means that most likely in about 4 months, we're going to see the release of the Pixel 10a, which will offer the new Tensor G5 chip, and the other features are still relatively unknown, but we might see camera upgrades, battery upgrades, and some other things. So if you can find this on sale, which is very common now these days, I still think it's worth your money to go buy it today. You're not going to be disappointed in the amount of value this phone packs into it. It's just an incredible device to have. However, with that said, if it were me, I would hold off until April to see what the Pixel 10a offers, and then potentially pick up the 9a on a steeper discount, or just pick up the 10a. Regardless, this is an easy recommendation at the end of 2025 or even at the beginning of 2026, and is an insane value for anyone looking to pick up a great phone with a beautiful and bright screen, incredible battery life, fast performance, fantastic camera, and fluid software while saving hundreds of dollars compared to picking up the latest flagship device. So what do you think? Is the Pixel 9a your next phone? Is there a better phone out there for the price? Hit that like button down below and subscribe for more if you like what I do, and also hit that new height feature down below as well to help this video reach new audiences like yourselves, and I hope you have a fantastic start to your 2026 and an overall happy new year.